This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, number one podcast in Oakland, the number one podcast in the Bay Area. And today we have a special guest. Just met this brother at a party. One of my boys told me about him, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's bring him on the podcast and dissect his life." He is, from what I know, he's a poet, a Freestyle Friday veteran. I believe a therapist, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about black men in therapy, but we're going to talk about that later. C Reese, welcome to the podcast.
Sir, welcome. I appreciate it.
How was your day today?
Man, it's busy. I had a photo shoot from at 12, and then I went from the photo shoot to a pool party that some friends was hosting. Pulled up here, and I gotta go link back up with the same friends for birthday, you know what I'm saying, get-togethers and whatnot.
Well, I appreciate you making the time. This happened quickly, but there's nothing wrong with that. So you seem like, my boy told me about you, and obviously I know him from a little way back. How do y'all two know each other?
You talking about Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all right, this is an interesting story, all right, because he would tell this story every time we meet somebody and they ask how we meet each other. He say, "Yeah, I ain't like him at first when I first met him because," and it's like, I don't know why, because the way I remember the story is I went to brunch with a couple friends, and then after we went to the brunch, we went to Lake Merritt, and when we was at Lake Merritt, he was chilling with some of his friends, came over, seen some people who I know, we dapped up. I found out he's from Chicago. I'm from Cleveland. So it was like, oh shit, we from the Midwest and shit. So cool, dapped up, whatever, went our separate ways. Next time I seen him was at this pool party. He was with some people, I was with some people. I had some weed, but I ain't had no backwoods. So I went over to one of the homies and was like, hey, he had a pack of backwoods. I'm like, yo, you got another one I could get off you? I could buy it. This nigga gave me his last backwood. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. You a solid dude. He went over to the table to get the backwoods, and James, or my boy, was at the table with him. And then I was like, oh, you know this nigga? Like, okay, cool. And that's when we kind of was like, oh, like, you solid peoples, you kick it with solid peoples. Like, I'm solid peoples, let's be peoples.
Did he give it to you just so he can have some of your weed?
Nah, because he had weed of his own. That was the thing. Like, that was the part for me that it's like, man, I don't experience a lot of people just doing shit out of the kindness of their heart sometimes. So when you give up your last backwood, like, that pack costs like $12. Like, it's only 5 in the pack for like $12. So it's like, you give up the pack, man. I was like, man, here, I'm a roll this motherfucker, pass it around. Like,
yeah, he is a church nigga.
Well, no, it wasn't him. He ain't had the backwoods. The homie had the backwoods, and he was friends with him.
Okay.
Nah, he don't know how to roll up shit. Can't even roll up windows.
So you say you're Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
When did you move to the Bay Area?
I got to the Bay in 2019, but I moved here. I was outside of LA, and then for a year, and then I was in San Diego for a year too. So I've been in California since 2017, but I've been in the Bay since 2019.
So you moved up here when like the pandemic was going on?
Right before. I got here August 2019.
What was the reasoning for the move?
Up here? So I was a school counselor. So I was doing like therapy with students. Like, I've been doing that for 6-7 years. And the school I was working at outside of LA was just like, it was real racist. Like, they had like all these issues with, like, only 30% of the students was black, but they was like represent like 90% of the suspensions and 100% of the expulsions. And I'm like trying to talk to the, principal about it. I'm saying, like, why is this happening? Why are we not? And you would see, like, X student does this, Y student does that, but this student gets a harsher punishment than that student. And it was like the same thing. So I just couldn't do it no more. And I was like, I didn't already live in San Diego. I didn't stay by LA. I was like, you know, I hear good things about Oakland. So I'm like, I want to move to Oakland, move to the Bay. I got a job working in San Francisco, but I knew I didn't want to live in San Francisco because I had been there before. Respect to San Francisco, but it ain't black enough for me. So I was like, I needed to be around my peoples, especially dealing with like the racism and shit like that. So I came here and, you know, it's been 6 years.
So you never visited here before you moved?
Nah, I had never been to Oakland. I had come to San Francisco when I lived in San Diego. I flew up here with some friends for a weekend and it was cool.
Okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. Born and raised in Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
What was growing up in Cleveland like for you?
Man, you know, it's interesting because like I have such what I feel like is a different experience with like growing up than a lot of people did is like I grew up in poverty, but I like grew up around a lot of people who had similar that I did. So I never really thought that it was like I was poor for real.
Yeah.
So it was me and my mom's single mom, only child. So she worked in like retail stores and like stuff like that. So a lot of the time I was just at home by myself. Like, so growing up was cool, play sports. Like I was, you know, well liked in school. Like then never had no bullying or no shit like that. But, you know, Cleveland is good. Like I love Cleveland. Like it's such it teaches you a lot about community. Like everybody loves everything about Cleveland, even when it's like toxic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like niggas is gonna root for the Browns every year. Like Shador got the dub yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Was balling out. Niggas is happy. Whole stand got 12 jerseys and you know what I'm saying? We probably I ain't gonna knock on wood, man. We gon' yeah.
So you were an only child, and it was just you and your mom's.
Yes, sir.
Did you know where your father was?
Man, it's so interesting. Like I had my dad. Like my dad got married to somebody while he was still with my mom, which was hella fucked up. But then I had him like in a capacity of like I would go certain times, certain day. I don't know if it was weekends or something. I was a kid. Probably until about 6th grade when I stopped seeing him. And then he was just gone for a while. And then randomly he popped back up when I was 18, pulled up in my grandparents' house asking me for tickets to go to my graduation. That's the last time I seen him.
Did he go?
Did he know?
No, I'm saying, did he go?
Yeah, he went.
Okay.
And he actually came to the graduation with his 2 other daughters that he had from a previous relationship. And that's the first time I met that I had like, you know, sisters or whatever.
How did you feel about that?
You know, it's interesting because
were you just I don't mean were you just happy that he popped up, or were you like angry?
Man, I'm like Capricorn, so it's like when people kind of cross you wrong, like it's like they gone, like it's like you dead to me, low key, and that's kind of how it was. Like for a couple of years, like when I was little, I would want him to come back. I would like want to, you know, figure out why he left, and he started doing fuck shit. Like he was on child support, but he would change jobs when the child support people would find him, so he ain't had to pay my mom. Like my mom got child support till I was probably like 23 because he owed so much bread. So it's like after you kind of see like the character of somebody, you kind of move away from it. So I wasn't really like that pressed to see him or know him after I probably hit like my teenage years. Now it's interesting because I just found out that he died at the end of June. And it was like they was somebody hit me up on ancestry.com like, yo, we need to give you some information. And I was like, nah, fuck that. Then this lady messaged me on Facebook, and then she tried to friend request me, and then she sent me an email to my work emails. And I like sent it to my my sisters or whatever. Like I sent it to them, and I was like, yo, did somebody reach out to y'all? And they was like, nah, like what's this about? So one of them called the lady, and she said they've been trying to get in contact with his like descendants or whatever so they could give the body. And I the whole time I'm kind of like, I should probably be sad, or I should probably be angry, or I should probably be something. And I really just ain't feel nothing. So it's like it's not that I'm like I hate him or like, you know, like his spirit is like I'm like, yes, you know how niggas was when Hulk Hogan died. I was like, I ain't tap dancing on nobody's grave. Like I ain't happy that nobody died. Like, but at the same time, it's like I can't mourn a stranger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I read the obituaries and I see 10 people who died, I could be like, damn, that sucks that they died. But ultimately, like, I don't know these niggas, man.
As a grown man now, do you kind of look back and be like, damn, I wish I had a relationship with him? Or do you feel like some type of guilt that you didn't do enough to establish a relationship? Or do you just put it all on your dad?
That's a great point. And one of the moments that I feel like struck me like with a lot of conviction in this situation was during the pandemic, like early in the pandemic at my church, because my grandparents' church had a lot of older people. So I was seeing like people was passing away from COVID and stuff like that. So it really made me want to think like, damn, like I should reach out to him. I should like, so I like, you know, I'm savvy. So I found his information. I found out where he was living, his phone number and all of that shit. And I was like to the point where I was getting ready to call. And it just was like, well, what am I gonna say? Like, what if he pissed me off? Like, what if and I felt like I didn't want to open that box. Like, I didn't want to deal with that because I knew the chance of my feelings getting hurt and me being like in a worse place off, like a net negative from that situation wouldn't have felt good. So I just really I didn't feel pressed enough to want to do that. So as a kid, you know, I probably did long for it a little bit. Like, you know, like I'm playing sports, I'm playing ball, and I'm like, I don't, you know, I got to learn all this shit by myself. Like, you know, I don't know how to tie a tie. I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, do certain things like shave and shit like that because I didn't have nobody there to teach me that shit. And it's like, I was resentful sometimes when I would be at my games and I would see my homies, pops would be there or something. Like, it wasn't a whole lot of us that had dads, but I would see that and I would be like, damn, like this nigga showing them how to bowl or showing them how to play pool. And it's like, damn, I wish I had that. But I think in a way, not having that and my mama not teaching it to me, it taught me independence and it taught me how to grow up real fast. So, you know, I wish him and his family and all of them the best, but it's like, I don't feel any guilt towards it because I was just a kid in the situation. I didn't have no choice or no opportunities to change any of that. And as an adult, again, like it's like I can't, like people sometimes ask me this about being an only child. It's just like I only have one experience. Like I can't compare it to nothing. I don't know what it's like to go through these battles, these trials and tribulations with somebody else. Like I don't know what it's like. So I'm just like kind of just living. Yeah.
My bad.
Nah, you good. It sounds old.
Did you because most single parents, I mean, most single parents with their one kid, right? That kid usually tries to find a male figure somewhere, whether it's like in gangs or like a basketball coach or a teacher. Did you seek out like a father figure from someone?
Nah, like, you know, it's so, that's why I said I got an interesting experience because I ended up getting into education, but I never really had a teacher that I felt like, you know, a lot of people would be like, oh, so-and-so saved my life and this and that. And it's like, I really ain't really fuck with nobody for real. Like I'm definitely not,
you're like very introverted.
I'm not like, well, sort of, kind of. Yeah, I'm definitely more of a introspective type person. I like to think in here as opposed to sometimes think out loud or talk it through with people. But I think like a lot of it, for me, like I saw a lot of bad examples of things and it taught me what I didn't want, which helped me to be a good example for the same thing. So it was like, I didn't see a lot of positive men in my life. So it was like, it taught me how to be a better man. Like it taught me like, oh, okay, like these niggas is out here cheating and beating and stealing and robbing and disrespecting. And I'm like, well, let me not do that shit because I see how that shit impacts people. I see how that shit makes people feel. So it wasn't like I attached to somebody's behaviors as much as I saw other people's bad behaviors and I kind of rebuked them at the same time. So it was like I spent a lot of time finding counterexamples to what I saw around me. You know, I have my grandfather who was a light in my life. You know, he he probably retired. He was a truck driver, and he for 30 years. He retired probably when I was like starting high school or like ended middle school or something. So a lot of the time he wasn't there. But as I got into be like a young adult, into my adulthood, he showed me the way. Now he an 80-something-year-old black man from the South. So it's like, well, he from Cleveland too, but it's like he grew up in the South. So it's like he got some ways, he got some sayings or some things I probably ain't gonna say, on the podcast. Shout out to my grandfather there. But he definitely showed me the example of what it was like to be a man, to sacrifice, to be selfless at times, and also stand on business at times. Like he taught me all of those things, and I'm eternally grateful to have had him and to still have him in my life. Like that's my guy. I'm surprised he ain't called me today. He called me all the time.
In high school, what type of kid were you?
Man, I was like a chameleon, to be honest, because I played sports. I was smart, so I was in like AP and honors classes. I was like popular, but it was like I was also like a clown, like a class clown. So I would get into like little behavioral things too. So I kind of like ran the spectrum of all of these different things. So it was like walking up and down the halls, getting daps and stuff like that. That's good. But then it was like in class, like I'm with my friends who in those classes and I'm talking a certain way. But when I'm with my friends as athletes, I'm talking a certain way. But when I'm with my people who we clown and we getting sent to detention and shit like that. So I kind of was a little bit of everything at the same time. Like, so I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot of energy I had to give to kind of like morph myself to be a bunch of different things in high school. And I think like if I could go back and do it, I would have loved to just like kind of pick one lane as opposed to pick like five. But
did you take academics seriously?
Nah, it was like I'm like smart, so it's like shit was very easy, and it was like I'm one of them like test takers. So it's like I probably did some projects, but I never did homework and I barely ever did classwork because I'm like, you want us to do this same problem 15 times? I've also got like some diagnosed called oppositional defiance disorder. So it's like I'm bad with authority figures. So like when people try to tell me what to do, like it's real difficult for me to like hear that with an open mind.
Who gave you that? Who?
I got it like after I got into therapy. Like it was like I started talking to other therapists and they said like, yeah, I think this is what you was experiencing when you was younger.
A white therapist?
Yeah, it was a white one, but it wasn't something that they tried to like label me with. It was something that they were saying like, this is probably why these relationships become so difficult for you, is because you naturally have a tendency to want to fight authority figures because you feel like authority figures try to come down on you unfairly, which was a lot of my experience. Like teachers being like, you cheated on this. And I'm like, what you mean? How I cheat? And then they'd be like, well, how'd you finish so fast? And I'm like, that's your evidence? Like, so as growing up, it was like I naturally had this like outer, like sort of like shell with authority figures that I would just get frustrated real fast. And that's kind of followed me throughout life. Even with like I tell people, I had the story of a $60,000 email I sent. Like I sent this email to one of my, he was my supervisor when I was in grad school, and I had this program this job that was paying my tuition, out of state tuition and everything. And because of this email, I didn't get asked to come back. So I had to take out $60,000 worth of loans. And this is me at 20, 25, 26. So this is still something that I have to like deal with. Like I be getting into it with supervisors and bosses and shit like that all the time. Like it's something that's followed me throughout my whole life. So it's like I try to do better with that, but I think like in school, it would be like kind of like a power struggle, and I'm not finna lose. And if I'm also, because I'm smart, I'm also real disrespectful. Like I'm like quick with my like wit and like my tongue. So it's like pause, but it's like when I start going after somebody, I'm not raising my voice. I'm not standing up, being threatening or nothing. Like I'm like hitting you with words. Like I'm like whipping your ass with words, and it's gonna be very crafty. And if you an adult getting like embarrassed by like a 15-year-old, like you gonna kick me out, you gonna write me up, you gonna not want me in your class. So it was just like, it was like that cycle kept following me all the time as I would have issues with my teachers. But when I would talk to the administrators, they would be like, yo, like we fuck with you. Like you funny, you cool, like you good. And it's like, it's because I definitely did have good administrators because they would give me an opportunity to speak and say my piece. And I would tell them like, I got frustrated because I'm getting accused of something that I know I didn't do. And they not letting me talk. They cutting me off. They interrupting me. They doing all of this. So naturally, I'm going to get disrespectful. And they like, we hear you. And you got to go to detention. You got in school, like you got 3 days out, something. So it was like, I would have a lot of those little dust ups. And yeah, I mean, it's.
Did you ever hit a teacher?
Hell no, hell no. I did get suspended for a teacher saying that I called her a fucking bitch. And I really, to this day, I can't say I did say it, but I don't think I said it. And in that class, nobody, like only 2 people said that I said it out of the whole class. And it was 25 niggas in the class and it was 2 white people. And I was like, she wouldn't tell me who said it. I said it, but my assumption is that, you know, one of my niggas. So
what year did you graduate high school?
2007.
Okay. Where did you go after that?
I went to Miami University in Ohio. It's
in Ohio.
Yeah, it's confusing. But it's like Ben Roethlisberger went there.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe
I know who he is, yeah.
But yeah. But it was like, it's a school in state that was giving me a lot of money. Like I got a full ride, scholarship, and I got my tuition paid for because my mom's income was below a certain threshold.
You got a sports scholarship?
No. I should have, but I was good at sports, but I felt like my attitude prevented me from being better, and I got hurt my senior year, so I missed a bunch of time because I had a back injury.
Okay.
But yeah, so I went to college. I was there for 5 years. I had a victory lap, but college was good. It was a good time.
Did you, from high school to college, making that transition, were you like the same person, or did you like eyes get open, and did you get like more political or more like Black Power shit when you got there? Because you know, college, you got all these different types of people from out of state and shit, right?
It's different perspectives. What I'll say is, when I was in high school, I had so much of a kind of like people pleaser mentality. And I think when I got to college, I kind of started off with that. And I was like trying to find people who fuck with me and was cool with me and this and that. And then I realized like, these ain't the same niggas as the ones that I'm from. So it's like, it would be weird. Like I was dealing with new problems and different issues and different crowds. And it was so, I actually like got a little bit more like insulated in terms of like, I wasn't trying to be everybody's friend no more. So it was like, I actually like honed in on like, what does it mean for friendship? And I think I lost a lot of that, like kind of like performative thing that I would do sometimes to try to like make sure people would fuck with me, because it was easier now because it's like, I got 15,000 people I could be friends with, as opposed to like my high school, which had like 2,000 or something like that. So it was like, when I got to college, I got real, like I think I like became way more myself. Like I pledged a fraternity. I was doing a lot more like shit. Like I ain't had sex in high school or anything too. So I got to college and that's when I lost my virginity and shit like that. So it was like, yeah, like I was
feel sorry for you.
I was terrified to get somebody pregnant. I was terrified, and I would see it was people getting pregnant at my school. It's niggas who I went to school with now who got kids that's in college. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I was scared. I was like, bro, I ain't getting. I got to college and was like, oh, all right.
Do you remember that first time?
Oh, absolutely.
The girl's name and all that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Still keep in contact with her?
Absolutely not. No. She been married for a few years. I don't know if it's a first marriage or second marriage, but she been married and stuff, so she cool. Shout out to her.
Okay.
It's a good time.
What did you study in college?
Early childhood education with a minor in coaching.
Why did you choose those?
You know, it's interesting because it's a good story. I was being bred to be a lawyer my whole life. Like, because I was telling you, like, I'm real sharp with the wit and stuff, like it would be great in a courtroom. But the summer
Wait, bred how? By your mother?
By just like all of the people around me.
Okay.
So like it was really my mom and my grandma wanted me to be a lawyer. But like when I would tell my grandparents, when I tell my uncle, and like, you know, them people, like they all would be like, yeah, I could see that for sure, because you like to argue, you like to be right, and you prepared with your arguments and all of that stuff. So when it came down to my senior year, the summer before my senior year, I took this job working in this park in my neighborhood. And you know, like it was dope. Like we get to hoop all day. Like people come up. It was a baseball field. We was playing like home run derby and shit. Like we could play games. Like that's how I learned how to play spades. I learned how to play poker and all of that shit. But we had sometimes when it wasn't like people our age come up there, it would be kids that would come up there. So I remember this one time we was playing, I don't remember, I think it was Sorry. You know,
yeah.
And the kid like got a 7, and I'm like, all right, little nigga, like 7, like, and he like 1, looking at me like 2. I'm like, nigga, 3, 4, like what you doing? Like, and I'm like 16, 17, so I'm not fully aware like what's going on. So I'm like, what you doing? And then his friend was playing and he couldn't count to like 10. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what grade is y'all in?
Yeah.
They like 3rd grade, 4th grade. I'm like, what? You can't count to 7 and you in the 3rd grade? So it like planted a seed. Like, I'm like, damn, like we got a lot of issues in our communities in terms of like kids and they struggles. And I know the school I went to, we was on academic emergency back in the day. Like, so it was like, it wasn't like I knew all of that shit. My mom had me reading books before I started school. Like math was easy for me. All of that shit just came real easy for me. So I didn't have a lot of empathy knowing that other people might not have just got it that fast. So I'm seeing them struggle and I'm like judging the fuck out of them. Like, and then they said in the 3rd grade, and then it kind of hit me. I'm like, how y'all make it that far and you can't count to 7?
Yeah.
So when it came down to declaring my major, I went to the school and I said I wanted to be pre-law and then I wanted to do education too. I wanted a double major. They like, you're going to be here for 6 years if you do that. And I'm like, So they said, you got to pick one. And I was like, damn, like, and then I started looking more into it because I wanted to be a defense attorney. I wanted to be like Johnny Cochran, like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to help like niggas who was guilty, make sure that, I mean, not niggas who was like not guilty. I'm like, okay.
I mean, well, you're going to have to help them too.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. But it was like, I wanted to help them not get put away for them long terms if they didn't do the shit. So that was like my motivation the whole time. And then, I started looking into the statistics and it was like 90% of your cases you're going to settle. And it's like out of the 10% of the cases that you're going to take to trial, 90% of your peoples is going to be guilty off top. So it's like you really fighting for 10% of the 10% of the percentage of people that you're going to work with for the rest of your life. And you're going to be dealing with people who done raped hella motherfuckers, who done killed hella motherfuckers, who been racist or been, xenophobic, homophobic, whatever that shit is, like that led them to do what they do. And I'm going to have to absorb all of their story. I'm going to have to tell their story in a way that's going to make them look a certain way. And it's like, I could do that, or I could go back to my community and help out these kids who need it. And I chose that, and that wasn't a fun, conversation I had to have with my grandma and my mama. Like they definitely, like they have come to love the fact that I work in education. But I think like for a long time, it was difficult because, we don't come from a lot. And it's like when you see somebody who kind of, that one nigga from wherever you from who windmill in the 9th grade and shit, you like, oh, that nigga going to the league. And then you find out, get a case or, he get locked up or something like that. And it derails kind of the plan. It seemed like that was kind of their energy at first. Like they was like, you want to do what? Like, you sure? Like, that's what you want? And it just meant more to me. And I think like that was why I chose to go that path.
Speaking of the education system, that story that you were telling about the kid not being able to count brings up something that I was thinking about. Do you think these tests, right, that they give students, do you think that they are kind of like racist, like the SATs and all that?
Absolutely. I mean,
And I say that because, right, you take a white kid who grows up in his household, his parents speak to him using different words and different vocabulary, and make him read books because he has access to books and shit like that. Access to, has a library card, he has access to the library. You take that kid, and then you take another kid, same age, parents in the household, parents speak differently to the kid, doesn't use like all these big words to him. He doesn't have a library card. He doesn't have tutors like the white child has, right? But you expect both of these kids to go in and take this test. Now the white kid is more privy to pass because of all of that shit that I just stated. The black kid goes in there and sees this test, and they're reading this word. Oh, you know how they do those vocabulary words. Read this word, and they give you a list of what's the meaning, or like this, it gives the same meaning of this word. Black kid is like, I never even heard this fucking word before, never saw it or anything. The white kid knows what it is because this nigga mom is telling him that shit on day-to-day conversations. So white kid passes, and then the black kid, oh, boom, you don't know simple vocabulary, they label him retarded or some shit, right?
Hate that word.
Do you think that's right? And also, do you think that they should do away with just tests in general?
You know, like, standardized tests have for a long time been culturally biased, and I think it's everything that you said. But it's even more than that. Is it's like it doesn't appreciate the diversity that you can have even in the same like questions. Like I can have you do the same like gymnastics in your brain to get the answer by asking you this in 1,000 different ways, but I choose these 1 or 2 different ways that don't necessarily make me show that I'm smart. It just makes me show that I know what you're asking me. Like, and that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like when I think about standardized tests, it's really difficult because I don't know of an equivalence, like something that you could do that's gonna be a catch-all for 100% of everybody. But we can see, and we have data, and we have research, and we have all of these things that tell you that they don't work. And it's like that's the main thing. Is it's like I hate to sometimes like say this is a problem without having a solution, but I do think like what I've seen from working in admissions and stuff is like a lot of places are doing like more holistic admissions now. So it's some of what you did, like in terms of like volunteering or something like you did, like if you play sports or if you was on like student government or something like that. Those things are starting to matter a little bit more because all of the like research is showing these schools like you're getting people who are strong in the same ways. And that means that you're only strong in those ways and you weak in everything else. And it's like, if, you know, like if we a basketball team, got all the basketball stuff, like if I had 5 shooters on one team and I had nothing else, like we're gonna be great at shooting.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna win because we don't have no diversity in what we're doing. So I think like I know that standardized tests don't work. And I think like if they added some like level of like performing arts or like creativity, drawing, like even something that's like you do math a certain way, but it's like if you tell me only way I can demonstrate that I'm good at math is by giving you ABCD or like fill in the blank or something like that. Like it's very limiting to the ways that we show our intelligence. Like it's like, so we have to, like I work at a school right now for students with special needs. So we don't do standardized tests the same way, but when we have to do them, all of my students get the accommodations that they need. They get, if they can't really type or write very good, we'll have somebody do it. But it's like if you taking the SAT and your typing skills are slow or your writing skills are slow, it's not even you not good at this. It's just in this time frame that they give you, I can't even show my real skills because I'm spending more time on the actual act of writing or typing when it's not, it has nothing to do with my brain. It has nothing to do with how I think. And I think like working at this school, that's really shown me a lot of how if you give somebody like an equal or a level playing field, like you'll see like they'll like my students, they doubt themselves all the time. And I do a lot of times I spend like just yo, like you got it, bro. Like and I don't down talk them. So I think a lot of it is like you said, like we come up with these reasons why we not good at stuff, and then we kind of like defeat ourselves in these ways. And at the same time, the places that need to hear these things, they gonna keep saying, well, look at the data, look at the data, look at the data. And it's we're not speaking the same language. So it's like now that I've had this experience, it's like I know how to talk to schools about this shit. I know how to talk to issues. So we don't care about that shit in my school. Can you do the work? Okay. You could show me with 4 problems at the same shit you could show me with 14. Bet, like do 4. Knock out these 4, do all of them with every single step properly. You got it, bro. I ain't gonna tax you just because that's the way that they used to do it back in the 90s. Like it's like that shit don't work. Like it's not helping people be more successful. Our reading scores and our test scores and our math and all of that shit is on the same level as it was back then, if not worse now, because of like technology. So it's like we not growing in any ways, and all of the data is showing you that this shit is fucked up, and there's nobody really like trying to like solve those things. So I'm glad to see like schools is doing like the more holistic approaches, because I do think it's like it's leveling the playing field. But now, the new, people in office now, it's like a little bit different now, because they trying to roll back on all of those like fairness measures. Like they trying to make it more about, like even though you Black and even though you coming from this situation and you had all this shit and all this trauma in your situation, we now about to let you see that you could try differently in this different environment and win. We said, fuck that. Nah, like I'm gonna keep you down here. And it's like that's how they moving now. And it's weird.
Do you affirmative action, do you think it was a good thing for Black people, or do you think it was a bad thing as far as Black people asking for a handout?
I think it's a combination, because affirmative action from a statistical like standpoint helped white women more than it helped anybody else. And it's just because if you look at the numbers, like they say, gender is one of the things, or sex is one of the things. So it's like, if I can put that I'm, a female or a woman down, that disqualifies anything else in terms of like my privilege. So women who are white were winning because there's way more of them. So they were getting the lion's share of the positivity from affirmative action. And then it was like all of the other people kind of like on it, but not necessarily on it the same way. And then when you flip that to the mentality it gave was, I don't think it's a handout as much as I think it is. Keep talking. I'm off. Okay. I don't think it's a handout, but I do think like it does kind of like build some complacency at times, because I think like if you feel like only like if I talk to these people a certain way and they give me what I need, you start to think more about the people who you got to talk to instead of yourself. And I think sometimes that's the hard part is I don't love government assistance. Like I was on it growing up. I had, food stamps and welfare and all of that stuff. Like, but my mom's, she gonna cuss me out when she see that, because she don't like when I talk about it, but it's, it's facts.
They don't define you.
Facts. And, but I think like she's a great example of, I only signed up for this because I had no other fucking choice. Like, we wasn't gonna be eating. And I know I'm a big nigga, but like we wasn't gonna be eating. I was smaller back then, but we wasn't gonna be eating. We wasn't gonna be able to pay our bills. We wasn't be able to do certain things, and we didn't have this assistance. And I think like those scenarios, great. I love it for those people because they trying to not need that shit. But I do think for some people it becomes a crutch, and it's like, well, if I make too much, I can't get this. So it's like I'm not gonna incentivize my life to make more. I'm gonna stay in this box. And it's like for others, it's like, well, I ain't gotta work because I got this. And it's like I can stay in this certain spot and be here for the next 5 years without having to ever do nothing different. And it's like, of course I'm gonna choose that. And I get it on both sides. Like I would love to, like, I work in education. So when I'm on summer break and I'm getting paid, even though I'm not working, like that shit is love. But it's like for other people, they like, damn, like I'm jealous, I'm this and that. And I'm like, well, work in education. But I think like I don't want to take that stance when it comes to like government assistance, because I do think that it's tough sometimes, because you don't also want to like judge somebody for their circumstances. I don't know why people are in the circumstances that they in and how they get out of it. But I also don't want them to feel like if you here and you getting what you need here, that tomorrow you're not trying to be there. The next day you're not trying to be there, and the next day you're not trying to be there. So it's like it's a catch-22. I think it's pros and cons on both sides.
A teacher has a student that and she fails him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's the child's fault for not learning, or do you think that the teacher's fault for not finding a way to teach?
I think it's a combination, and I think it's situational, because in certain situations or circumstances, there will be a student who is giving you nothing. And it's like, I don't want to reward that. But I think like if you don't catch that early, it makes for a much more difficult situation. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Have some Puerto Rican food just catching up. At my school, we really try not to fail students. One, because when you see an F on your report card, it naturally like makes you feel worse about yourself. And you flip that with, as a teacher, like you had weeks on weeks on weeks on months to bring this student up to the administrators, to talk about it with their counselor, to have a parent teacher conference or something like that, to let somebody know that they were in danger of failing. And if you don't step in and do that, that's your job. Like you should want everybody to be successful, even when they don't want to be successful. So I think like it's a little bit on both, but I will always choose the professional to say like, you're the person who's supposed to be good at this. Like this kid is learning all this stuff for the first time, you know, most times. And it's like, it's your job to kind of get them to the finish line. Now, again, you can lead a lead a horse to water.
You can't make them drink.
But you can't make them drink. Like, so it's that sometimes too. But I would say 9 times out of 10, it's the kid don't feel encouraged. The kid don't feel good about themselves. They really not understanding it, but they may be like ashamed, or they might be embarrassed, or they don't want their friends to know. And it's like all of them barriers is things that's easily like navigated. Like all you got to do is say something. You got to speak up. You gotta be willing to, you know, like help somebody. So
do you believe that when you go to these great schools, like for example, Piedmont has schools that are fancy as hell and get all this funding, but they're in Oakland, and then you go around the corner to another school. It's like inner city school. They don't get no funding or whatever. That's weird to me, but that's a whole another subject. But when you go to these fancy schools and then you have these great teachers, right, who come from like crazy good backgrounds, masters, PhD degrees or whatever, and then they go to these good schools to teach these white students. Do you think that's selfish of them, because the whole point of teaching is to go to like a disenfranchised person and help them, elevate them? And these teachers choose to go to the fancy school where the kids really don't, because they have tutors and they're with their parents. Their mom is probably a housewife, so she's with the kid teaching them as well. So they're getting 24-hour support and education shit going through their brains. But they would choose to go to that school where they don't really have to do anything with these kids, instead of going to like the inner city, the bad schools where they can literally change a child's life. Do you think that's selfish of them for doing that?
You know, it's so tough, because anything that you're doing, I feel like you need your heart, you need your spirit to be behind you. And for a lot of these people who try to do like, like they had a like, white saviorism at times, and they go into these inner city environments and they think like, yeah, like I'm gonna change this kid's life. Like, and it's like, why won't you listen to me? I'm so much like in a better spot than you are. Like it can come across as very judgmental, and it's like very condescending in ways when they talk to them. So it's like I've seen it where people go into it with a good heart, with good intentions, and it still don't work. And I've seen it where they don't have good heart and good intentions and it don't work. So it's hard to police somebody's spirit. But I do think a lot of the times is those places are easier, and it's just like you have better textbooks, you have more technology, all the kids is gonna have all their materials. You ain't gonna have to spend time, asking them to take out stuff because they're gonna already have it. So it's a certain amount of effort you gotta want to give to be in them environments. And I've worked in inner city schools in the hood. I've worked at a private school in San Francisco, to now where I work now, which is like a school for students with special needs. And it's like, I worked at a charter school. Like I've worked at all of these different environments, and I've kind of taken things from each one. And even at those schools where the kids got a lot of privilege, they be having neglect issues. Like they parents be going to fucking Switzerland for 2 weeks and leaving them with they nanny who can't speak English or something. And it's like they running all over them. So they don't know boundaries. They don't know things. They don't know consent. They don't know like all of these things. So it's stuff you could teach them too. But then if you go to you go to the hood and you go to those schools, it's like you got people who struggling to survive. So it's like, I know in them situations, like when I was teaching at the school in Cleveland, I'm spending so much time trying to like so-and-so didn't eat last night. So it's like, damn, I'm bringing a snack for them. But then it's like, I bring a snack for them. I bring a snack for everybody. So it's like, now I'm coming out my paycheck, $75 each week.
Well, that's the parents' fault. I blame the parents for that shit.
But it's not like they got it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's all about the system. And I think like what I've noticed in working in certain schools in certain areas, like the school that I worked in the hood, like best principal I've ever worked under was that lady, Miss Linda Knight. Like she was a GOAT. Like she was a legend to me. Like she was the reason that I wanted to get into school administration. And it was because I seen how hard she worked. I seen like niggas 6'3" niggas pulling up on her. Like, what the fuck? Like, and she like 5'5", something like that. And she standing 10 toes. Like, sir, you're not gonna talk to me like that. Like if you want, like, this is your child, right? So you invested in their success, right? So you need to speak to me with respect. And literally head up, like I'm in your face with that same shit. Like seeing like real, like how they say like not all heroes wear capes. It's like those is the people that you need in them environments. You need heroes, you need stars, you need butterflies. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need moths in there. And I think a lot of them people that you're talking about, even though they got the PhDs, the whatevers, they not heroes. They not bold enough. They not strong enough. They not willing enough to deal with some shit that they've never experienced. So they're gonna go with what they know. They gonna take the easy route. And I can't knock them for it, because again, if I'm from Bel Air, you know what I'm saying, and somebody say I'm gonna put you in the pork and beans projects in Miami, like go ahead and make some magic happen. And it's like, what I'm supposed to do? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna hold them accountable, because it defeats the whole purpose of teaching. Like, I mean, I'm not going to become a nurse if I don't have compassion for for humans, right?
I agree.
I'm not going to become a nurse just to because it's I get to sit behind a desk and just chill. No, I'm going to be. I want to care for these cancer patients, right? These teachers who go, just like that story that you told about that principal.
Yeah.
I guarantee if that same principal would have went to like a good school, she would have just been a whole nother. She was just been a principal. No students would remember her. She just would have been She just would have been another lady. But she went to, and she probably had the credentials to go to the good school. But whatever reason it was, she finds her way at the school you were at, and now she has students that to this day still think of her and like praise her just like you did. So I think that's the whole difference between the two. You got to look at yourself and be like, yo, do I really? It's like that movie Dangerous Minds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like she was in the hood, and them students, she changed them students, and they're going to remember her for the rest of their lives.
A lot.
And that's more self-gratifying.
And that's why, you know, I wanted to, like, I worked at that school in San Francisco. It was like in a nice part too. And it was like, I felt so uncomfortable all the time. And it was like the black kids that we had there, those was like my little niggas. So it was like, I'm helping them, like getting them out of shit. Like they trying to come down on them for certain things. And I'm like, nah, we not doing that. Because at the same time, I want them to be there. I want them to have that access. And if they only getting access because financial aid, whatever, blah, 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 like still, like I want them to see themselves in this building. I want them to know that they could be successful there. And the shitty part about it is me and one of my good, like my boy, we was both there at the same time for 3 years, and we both left, and we heard like a lot of the shit just fell apart after we left because they see us and they respect us, and we might not be their teachers, we might be not this, but we could pull them over and be like, yo, like, what you doing? Like, chill. And that's different than when the white folks say it to them. So it's like, I got at that school because it was like, I eventually want to have my own, like, I want to have a black boys school in the hood somewhere. I don't know where, whoever gonna give me the most money, but I want that to be how I give back. Like, I remember 2 of my homies from middle school, they got like scholarships to go to a private school in Cleveland and play ball. And they was there for 2 years, and then they came back to our school. But we was like, damn, like y'all niggas, man, y'all was in private school. Like y'all was wearing suits and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all was, we saw y'all niggas at these schools that we dreamed, like I had never stepped foot into a private school until the day I started working there. And it was like, as soon as I stepped in, I was like, this shit feel different. It feel weird. It feel like foreign. And I'm like, that's a problem. I should feel comfortable in any space that I'm in. And I think like, that's why I worked at all of these different environments, and I kind of like dipped my foot in all of these, is because I want to see us win. And I don't think that we have options or opportunities. So what you were saying about the teachers, it's like, yeah, I hear that. Like, but at the end of the day, fuck them niggas. Like, it's like they doing it for whatever reasons they doing it for, and they probably don't have the same fever and the same spirit of why they doing it like I did. Like I said, I hated most of my teachers growing up, and it was because I didn't feel like they loved me. I didn't feel like they cared about me.
You didn't have a connection.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm building connections, and it's like, I'm learning how to go to these places and teach people how to build connections with the students. Like they trying to math. And I'm like, nigga, person, human. Like, this is what matters way more than any of this shit. And once you build that human connection, you can get them to do the math. You can get them to sit down. You can get them to listen. So it's like, and I'm doing that with special needs students. So it's like, I'm teaching these teachers who, some of my teachers got, I mean, I ain't gonna say that, but sometimes I feel like I'm trying to teach them how to connect. And it's like, I've done that at a bunch of different schools. And it's like, that's the overall thing that we need better with. Like, the teachers is there, fuck it. Like, you don't got a PhD, you don't even got a credential. Let me show you how important you can be in these kids' lives by just being cool with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just not judging them. And I feel like a lot of the times, when them teachers who you talking about, they up here already in their mind of their importance level, and that becomes the way that they talk to everybody. You should listen to me because of what I am. And it's like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna listen to you because of who you are in my life. And that's the only thing that matters to me when I talk to my teachers, is it's like, you don't have to have Dr. Nothing. You don't have to have no master's degree. You don't have to even have a credential. But can you work with people? Can you make a human to human connection? And that's all I want you to start with. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And so you get that, fuck the math, fuck the science, experiments, all of that shit. If you can't connect with this kid, I guarantee you they not gonna fuck with anything that you say.
Yeah, I respect y'all teachers, but I can never be one, because I'm team fuck them kids. I hate.
Me too.
I hate
bruh. As soon as 326 hit, I'll be like,
All right, so I want to pivot to music.
Facts.
When did you start doing music?
So literally my first time going in the studio for myself to create music was January 1st, 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was a poet since I was
Wait
17.
a minute. Are you talking about the first time you just went into a studio and recorded a song? Because
For myself, yeah.
okay. But when did, I mean, you were doing like, you were writing and I mean, you had to have been doing some type of shit before then, right?
Not musically, no.
No? Okay.
Nah. I was doing poetry since I was 17. I started when I was a freshman in college, and I would do like
spoken word?
Spoken word,
Okay.
yeah, like slam poetry. Like I did like competitions. I won a couple, like was going to different places and doing it. And I mean, literally, like it comes back to my school. The reason why I started doing music was we had this thing called experiential learning week, where we take a week where we like kind of had the kids come to school, where we do stuff that's not school. So like some people went to museums, some people go on like culinary travels and shit. And I said, I'm gonna do beat making and writing lyrics. And we got in there and we doing Fruity Loops and we, playing with the 808s and doing that and shit. And I'm like, all right, y'all made some beats. Like now we gonna rap on the beats. And they was like listening to me. They like, yo, do you do this or something? And I'm like, nah. They like, you should do this. And it was like that. I was like, damn. And then James, he works with or partners with, or I don't know, with this studio out here. I think it's called Red Heron Studios. And he was like, yo, like if you want to go in here and work and do this, like he was like, yeah, I could plug you in. And I'm like, fuck it. Like, all right. I go in, I start doing a little bit in there. Like the nigga who was the engineer was like, okay, like, are you doing some things? Like, I seen that. I started playing the shit for people. People was like, oh, fucking with it. Started shooting videos for it. And then all of a sudden it was like, I kind of took it more seriously. And now I've been doing some shows. I'm getting ready to put this album out. I got to get it mixed, man.
Wait, let's not talk about that yet.
Oh, okay.
Let's save it for that. Let's stay on the poetry too.
Poetry.
Explain your love for when did you fall in love with poetry?
I don't know if I did. Like I had an assignment in one of my classes where we had to write a poem. And at that time, like I had like two aunts that had passed away. One of my friends from high school had gotten like hit by a car and died. Like and I wrote this poem. It was called Death, right? And I was just, it was long as hell, and I was just in there venting, and I was just like just talking. And I remember I performed it at this poetry competition, and the niggas had to like damn near Apollo like yank me off the stage, like because I was just up there just reading my shit, making everybody sad in that motherfucker. So people pulled me off and they was like, yo, I see where you trying to go with it, but you gotta like hone in a little bit on a lane. And then I started writing some poetry for the girls, at the time. So I started to find my flow.
Yeah, that's the best.
Fact.
And bitches start doing all this bullshit.
That was the best. I was putting my shit on Facebook notes, goddamn, and it was and tagging everybody like, yo, look this up, look at this. And I just kind of kept going and kept going and kept going. And eventually I got to the point where I was starting to talk about way more in my life. I was talking about like shit that problems I had with my dad, or like, growing up was a certain way and things like that. And over time I just got better and better and better at it, to the point where I started doing contests and performances and competitions and things like that. And I started to place, and I would do like good shit, like, and people would know me for the poetry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you're so good at poetry because you are, listening to you from the start of this conversation, you spoke that you were kind of reserved and not really emotional, right?
Right.
So do you feel like you are good at poetry because you, even though you're reserved, you let your feelings out through poetry instead of like walking down the street. Like no one would know that you were mad and going through a whole bunch of shit. So you write it down on a paper.
Yeah, it became my therapy before I knew what therapy was. Like, how can I cry without crying? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I could, like Song Cry by Jay-Z, like growing up was one of my favorite songs because he said, I can't see him coming down my eyes, but I got to make the song cry. And it's like, what do that mean? And he's saying, I don't physically feel like I need to shed tears in order to make someone understand the reason why I probably should be shedding tears. So in my poetry, I'm finding crafty ways, word plays. I'm taking my real life situation, but I'm also making it into maybe like a story that's not the actual story to make it more relatable for somebody else. And then it's like when people hear the shit, they like, damn, like, all right, like I see what you was going through. And it's like at the same time, it's not vulnerable enough to be like, oh, like, so-and-so robbed me at gunpoint or something. And, like, I don't have to say that where I can say like, oh, like I felt like my spirit was in danger and my things were taken from me without ever losing possession of them, or like, and people could see something like, I just freestyled about it. But like, but it would be like, somebody can hear that and relate to it a little bit differently than maybe somebody who had to have gotten actually robbed. It's like you understand the concept without it being a direct story. So I think like that's what I found my love of poetry, because I love music. Like growing up, it was like my mom put me onto so much music from, Switch and Rolls Royce and Hall & Oates and Prince and Michael Jackson and Luther Vandross and the 90s when we had like Salt and Pepper and shit like that. And it's like, I just love stories. I love storytelling. Like I wasn't into like, Rakim and KRS-One and all of that. But as a adult, like I've heard what they do, and it's like, it's all just storytelling. It's like being able to make something mean a lot more when you hear it. It's like you hear it visually, and it's like that's what I try to do with my raps. That's what I try to do with my poetry. All of that shit is just like, I want you to feel every word that I'm saying when I'm saying it, and at the same time not know shit about what I'm talking about, for real, for real.
So was it easy for you to transition from writing a poem to writing a song?
Oh, rap is so much easier than poetry. It's so much easier.
Explain.
Because you have things with you. I go out on stage to do poetry. It's me and a mic. I don't have no beat. I don't have no hook. I don't have no background dancers, no background singers. I don't have no instruments. I don't have, a chorus that I mean, you can do that in poetry. You can have people like join in with you, but for the most part, you out there by yourself. So when I'm hearing the beat, it's like keeping me in time. It's keeping me rhythmic. I can have like ad-libs playing in the background. If I lose my words, it's like something's helping me behind the scenes. Like I just felt like when I got into rap, it was like, oh, okay, I only need to come up with 16 bars on 8 bars on 4 bars on, like, it was so structured. Where poetry is just open. Like you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and you have to do it all because there's nobody helping you. So I love, like, even though I'm not, I'm not like a YN, you know what I'm saying, where I'm relying on the beat solely, like, talking about nothing. Like I'm saying some shit, but it's like I'm also knowing, like, I don't want to be like, rippity rappity, blippity blappity, flippity flappity. Like I don't want to rap like that too. So it's got to be catchy. It's got to be understandable. It's got to be something that people want to continue to play. So I think like when I make music, I'm having to hold back a little bit sometimes, dumb it down a little bit sometimes, because I want it to be a slap. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be something that's good. But
you're trying to stick with the times.
Well, it's a balance, because it's like I love like J. Cole, but it's like a lot of my like young adulthood, I remember I would hear people say like, oh, it's boring. It's just like he just monotone, he just talking. And it's like, yeah, but listen to what the nigga's saying. And it's like I realize niggas don't always want to listen. They just want to hear shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you can balance both of them, like a lot of my songs, when I do them, I try to embed some good shit. But first verse, I'm probably gonna give you a more watered down version, and then the next verse, I'm gonna actually go in and say some shit. But it's because a lot of shit, like you gonna listen to the first verse, chorus, and you gonna turn it off, or you gonna skip to the next song or whatever. Like if we make some content, I ain't gonna make a 2-minute video of me rapping. I'm gonna make a 60 second, 45, 30, 15, which is gonna be the piece of it that I want you to come back to over and over to get the message eventually. So it's like, it's different and it's more difficult, but I feel like it's easier to create, if that makes sense.
Do you have a muse in poetry, and do you have a muse in music?
Oh, my favorite poet is a guy named Shihan. My favorite piece he ever did was called Flashy Words. And it's like he took all of these things, like homophones. So like, you know, so you got everyday celebrity. He would makes like every day, and then he would say like ever, maybe say something Y and then day, and then he would say like celeb and then like ritty. Like he would just break up the word and put it back together and chop this part of it with this part. And I heard that shit and I was like, damn, like that's writing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a nigga saying, I'm about to like Lego this shit. Like it's like I'm gonna stack this shit differently. I'm gonna make the same things hit you differently in different ways. And I was like, that shit is tough. So I would say that's my favorite poet. Man, in terms of rap, like I love.
Well, it doesn't even have to be rap, just music.
Better. I would have to say it's like 5. I would say Cole, Kendrick, Mac Miller, little bit of Larry June, and probably like Wiz Khalifa. Like that's like how I try to think about how I put things together. I want it to be wordy and creative like Cole. I want it to be impactful like Kendrick. I want it to be emotional like Mac Miller. I want it to be relaxed like Larry June, and I want it to be cool like Wiz. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think like that's, if I could put together like the ingredients to make me, it would be those 5 artists.
What are you? Do you have music out?
Album coming soon. I'm about to drop. I'm about to drop my first single. I've been trying to drop it for a while, but I need to get it mixed. I have some.
Wait. Let's not talk about that yet.
Fact.
This Freestyle Friday shit you got going on.
Yep.
Explain that.
So when I don't drink no more, but when I used to drink, me and my
I could have
niggas,
swore you was drinking at that rooftop party.
Hell no. I had some good old high quality H2O, brother.
If you, I know your mom is gonna listen to this. You don't. I mean, if you want to say you don't drink,
I'm
just fucking.
I'm drinking my mom's. No, anyway, when I used to get drunk, me and my homies in college, we would just freestyle, right? Like, and again, this before I was in the studio, in the booth, anything like that. And we just putting together shit, and niggas is like, yo, like, did you write this? Did you? And it's like, nah, like it's just I'm freestyling. And I remember like I started to see other artists like Joyner Lucas or like you know, ASAP Rocky, like, you know, niggas who would flip like beats that had already come out.
You can grab one of them napkins too if you want. Come on. I know it's hot. Right on that top of that.
Once the window, it was like, but it's when I saw people like rapping on other people's beats, it was like, damn, like that's a cool little, you familiar with this beat, but you ain't maybe heard my flow or you ain't seen me do this before. So it was like, you know, I don't have no producer yet. I don't have no beats that I bought or had a beat pack or anything like that. So what if I just demonstrate how I can flow on these tracks that you already know, and at the same time sort of like do my own thing with them. So I started saying like, all right, I'm gonna do these freestyles, and it was like, all right, Freestyle Friday, we're gonna put them out on Fridays. And before I was just like in the studio doing it. Now I'm like actually outside recording this shit on my own and editing it on my own and making them into like little mini music videos and stuff like that. I had a hard drive crash, so I lost a whole bunch of footage recently, which sucks. But I'm bringing them back. I got some more shit on the way. But I think like again, I'm just trying to build up people's like ear to me, and it's like it's easier to do that with somebody else's track that you familiar with, that you might give a listen to because you like the beat. And that's kind of like where I am. And it's and I'm doing those. I do another thing called Rhythm and Rhyme Wednesdays, which I'm bringing back as well, where because I do a little singing, just a tad, just a tiny bit. And I sing like a cover to an older song, and then at the same time, like I will rap a verse on it too. So it's like those is like my two ways that I've been sort of like, we might need that open. I don't know why I got hot all of a sudden.
Well, they're not gonna hear the background anyway, so
yeah. But those was like kind of like my preseason games. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm just giving off those. I already got the album done, but I'm waiting to drop it until I feel like I've built up the listeners that I want to hear. I've done some performances where I've done my original music, but it's coming soon. It's all done. I just need to get it fully mixed and mastered, and then I'm ready to go.
do you have a name of this project?
Yeah. The project is called My Ode to Wrestling.
Say that again?
My Ode to Wrestling. Like ODE. And I know you was looking at me crazy. But so when I was a kid, I loved wrestling, bro. Like I loved
you said wrestling.
Yeah, what you thought I said?
I thought you said a wasteland or some shit.
Nah.
Midwest. My ode to wrestling.
To wrestling, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So each song has its own name, but it's also named after a wrestler. So it's kind of like a double entendre because the song represents the wrestler in some way, whether it's their real life or whether it's they character. And it kind of like each song will expose like a theme that relates back to the wrestler. And it's like, because I love wrestling so much when I was growing up, it was because, like I said, like I was so good at whoever I was around, I could be whatever I needed to be when I was around them to be comfortable. And it was like, that's what I looked at as wrestling. It's like, these niggas ain't really, butchers and taxi drivers and shit, but they play the nigga on TV. And it's like, when they doing it, they giving their little interviews, they really that nigga. And it's like, you got to go home, your kids, friends hate your ass because of what you did to their favorite wrestler, but you got to say, yeah, fuck that. Fuck your friend. I don't care about them. Like, blah, blah. You got to play that role. Like, you really got to embody that. And I think it just showed me what, like, the meaning was behind actually, like, investing in yourself and, like, investing in your character. And that's like who you are. So each song, again, it's related to a wrestler, and yeah, it's a lot.
Are you the type of artist, when you write songs, it's better for you to have a topic than to just write some shit where every verse is like different, just like you're just rapping on some top of the dome shit? Like Joyner Lucas. Like Joyner Lucas comes to mind when all of his songs are like topic based. Like he raps, his songs are like something specific that he wants to talk about.
Right. I think it's tough because yes and no. Like at the same time, like it's like I don't have a preference because I love to write. And I think, like, again, if I was an author and I only wrote mysteries, like I would probably burn out at some point, like, because it's like the same story. How many times can I talk about, like you watch Scooby-Doo or something when you was a kid? Like it's only so many times you be like, it's that nigga from like it's only so many times you could really be surprised by that. So I want to have some versatility in my steez, like how I rap. But I think a lot of times when I'm making my songs, I hear the music, like I hear the beat, like it's playing over and over in my mind, and I kind of like try to arrive at something that feels close to what it is. A lot of times I come up with the hook, and if the hook drives me in this direction, we talking about, you know, going to the strip club, or we talking about my ex-girlfriend or something like that. It's like whatever the music like sort of like makes me feel, it's kind of like how I start writing it. And I think like it's pros and cons. Like I think like when you are so topic based, sometimes it's like you won't have cohesion in your project because everything is going to be individualized and it's not going to come together as like a full body of work. And I think like you see that with some artists is they make phenomenal singles, but they don't make good projects. And I want to make a good project. I want you to listen to that shit front to back and be like, cause you know, it's so easy to like, we overloaded with music these days. We ain't got to switch the CD out. We ain't got to flip the tape or no shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever I want to listen, if I want to listen to disco and then I want to listen to gospel and then I want to listen to funk, like it's like I could do that 3 straight songs in a row by just clicking different buttons. So I want somebody to hear my shit and want to stay with it. So I think like it's yeah, I don't know. Like it's that's a good question.
When it comes to your dreams, now this can be music, poetry, or whatever, or just life. When it comes to your dreams in life, what is it, and what are you doing to accomplish it?
Like I want to have my own school. Like that's for sure a thing. Like I want to not like be a principal of a school. Like I want to create a school. Like I want to run a certain model. Like I want my school to go a certain way. And I want it to be my vision. Like I said, a black boys school in the inner city somewhere. Like I want that to be
like what Doc Dumar is trying to do.
Allegedly, yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, just respect. Like, I don't have no issue with him, but I just want to see some receipts. Like, you know, like, what are you getting money? Where's the money going? But it's like, I want that shit to exist and flourish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the model. I want it to be about the program. You know how they say nobody bigger than the program. Like, I want that to be the case. And I think like because I'm so forward thinking in my spirit and my mind that I have all of these ideas, and this comes from me working in the hood. It comes from me working with the privileged kids. Comes from me working with the students with special needs. It comes from, you know, like being in this area, which is not the best of the best, but it's in this city that's better than where I'm from. So it's like I have all of that wealth of experience that I want to put together and like turn it into something. And it's like, you don't see that too often. Like, it's like you have these very like strict and rigid mindsets about these schools. And I think that's also part of what Dr. Umar is probably dealing with is I want this school to be so super specific to what I want it to be because it's my school that it's harder to make that come to fruition. Like, so I want my school to be a version of all of these places that I've traveled and been to because I've seen all of the positives, but I've also seen all of the negatives. And I want to combine that to make this building that's just comfortable, it's secure, it's friendly, it's warm, it's non-judgmental, it's mental health conscious, it's you know what I'm saying? Like it's friendly for everybody. Anybody could come in there. I mean, it's black folks, but you know, like any black folks. And it's like I want that to be the case. I don't want it to be linear. I don't want it to be like monolithic. I don't want it to be like I see how well I've done in diversity as I've come like to these like new spaces and environments. And it's like I want that to be the dream. Now, when it comes to poetry, I want to see more YNs and poetry.
YNs.
You know what I'm saying? But it's real because it's like if you could make a drill song, you could make a drill poem. And if you can make a drill poem, I'm telling you, that shit gonna feel different than that song because you feeling the beat, you feeling that bounce, you feeling the snares is going crazy on that, and that's feeding. I want you to feed yourself by knowing like these words matter way more than the track. These words matter way more than my homies behind me with the Dracos and the, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that to be the reason that you feel like this is the way I got to get this shit out. Like your shit can be violent, your shit can be dark, your shit can be sad. It can be all of them same things, but make it yours. Don't make it like so-and-so's song, or don't make it as a response to so-and-so's song. And I think like we got so much aggression in our music sometimes when it's like you flipping aggression for sadness. You flipping aggression for embarrassment, or like you've been disrespected so much that you don't know anything else except to disrespect back. And it's like that's what I want to see in poetry. Is I want to bring more diversity to the space, to the landscape of who's doing it. And then with music, like it's like if I could get into a groove or somebody would pay me to make this music or write for somebody or you know whatever. Yeah, like shit, sign me, shit. I sign it. But overall, like I really just like to express myself, and I feel like that's just what I'm getting into now. It's a whole new challenge. I went from the music to the content, so now it's the content is like, how do I get better at this shit? I love a challenge, and I think like that's my favorite piece of creation. Like it's just like, how can I figure out what I need to do, and then once I do that, it's like, okay, bet, like let me find something different. Like I wanted to come up with like a similar space to like Wildin' Out, like on some like different type shit. I wanted to be less like a competition, like us versus them, but like a jam session where you got poets and you got rappers and you got instrumentalists and you got vocalists and you got dancers and you got all of that. We about to freestyle everything and just, you know, figure that out.
That seems like that is easy. No, well, not I want to say easy, but it's easy to do because all you got to do is like find a space.
Right.
I mean, I know a bunch of people who do that shit now. You probably know, like you probably heard of what's that? Them niggas that be at the Atlas, and they do like some open. It's like a studio, and then everyone just goes. I think it's all
office hours.
Office hours, yeah.
I actually,
and then Gold Bean, she does that poetry night.
Taylor, I performed the second Mondays a bunch of times.
You can start your own shit.
Facts. And it's like I've performed at office hours. I've performed at second Monday, so I see like the community aspect of it. I want it to be less individual. I don't want it to be like now Billy Bob's coming up and Real Nigga Jones, you know what I'm saying? And like I wanted to be we all, and I've done this with singing before, where it's like you just got people playing instruments and you just pass the mic around, and it's like when I'm going, I'm the lead, but you all behind me, you backing what I'm doing, and somebody start dancing and somebody start freestyling. It's like I want it to be like a healing space. Like it's like I want it to be everybody is just dumping all of our creativity out onto one canvas, and it's like it just shines. And it's like it don't have to be perfect. It could be muddy, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
But everything that we get from it is helpful. It's positive. It's good. And I don't often know how to make that happen. So it's like I'm working on it, but it's like that's kind of took a backseat when I focused on the music. But eventually I want to get to that. Like I loved like grown, like probably not like when it hit like season like 15, but like Wildin' Out was my shit back in the day. And I loved it because niggas was freestyling, niggas was singing, niggas was roasting each other, coming up with these little games.
It was like an In Living Color type of vibe.
Right. But it was like, it seemed like it was more like organic, like it wasn't like scripted. So it was like, we just kind of going. I've come to find out it's got some practice. They be practicing.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you still get the gist of like the rawness of the performance. Like it's not like niggas fuck up on there all the time. And it's like, that's the good part. So like, I want it to be very imperfect. And I think like sometimes when you go to these performances that people have, like you've been in the mirror, you've been going over and over, and you like, if I fuck up, it's like, I don't want to talk to nobody. And I've been there myself. Like when I make a mistake, I don't want to communicate with you. I'm thinking about my mistakes. I'm focused on that shit. So I love the idea of it being a whole bunch of rough drafts happening at once. Like none of this is a finished product. We're not about to put this out on wax. Like it's about to be like we just having fun, enjoying ourselves in creativity and in community. So that's like what I want to see
That's dope.
myself like eventually pivot towards is like hosting. So I would love to do like a tiny desk as well, like and do some shit like that where it's like we have live instrumentals going. I would love to do poetry and music and bring people up there to sing, dance, whatever. Like I want to do shit like that too. Like live music is something I love.
Yeah, the one thing about the Bay Area is there's not a lot of creators out here because it's definitely not like LA, New York, and like those big markets.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity to start movements out here,
Right.
and like bond with other creators as well. But last question.
Yeah.
If someone was to ask, I mean, a lot of people when they hear this, they don't know you. So, and then they've heard this conversation, but if someone was to ask, who is Reese? What would your answer be? Explain.
I mean, I'm complicated as fuck. I'm a lover. I'm a fighter. I'm wise. I'm helpful. I'm honest. I love those like as like a way of just like opening the door to who I am. Like I'm a flawed perfectionist. I strive and try my best to never make a mistake while also realizing that I'm always going to make mistakes. And I think like both of those things drive me to be the best version of myself. And yeah, I'm empathetic, I'm caring, but I also don't give a fuck. So it's like I'm that nigga too at the same time. Like it's like I'm a villain. Like I'm mean at times. Like, but it's like it's only to people who deserve it. Like I hate bullies. I bully bullies. Yeah, creative. More than anything, that's the best word I could say. It's like creative.
All right. Do you have any socials that you want to share to the world?
For sure. My Instagram and my TikTok are at C Reese Music. So CREESEMUSIC. Yeah. I mean, I have a YouTube channel that's also C Reese Music, but it's got a 1 at the end, C Reese Music 1. No periods or underscores or whatever. Yeah, album coming soon. My ode to wrestling. Single gonna drop soon too. It's called my debut single is called Smooth. That's coming soon.
Oh, Reese, well, it was very nice speaking with you. Appreciate you coming on, explaining your life. Takes a lot for a person to talk about details. This is a real detail-oriented podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully, when your album comes out, you could come back because and review the album because we do album reviews on my platform as well. So hopefully, when that happens, that can happen. Yeah, and everyone just reach out, like follow him, support. Doesn't take much to just click a button on a follow. People think that is so big, like it takes a lot. Like, it just literally takes a 1/10 of a second.
Something popped up.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
But yeah, appreciate you coming on. Do you have any last words?
I mean, live. Like that's something I tell people all the time. Like, keep living. Never stop.
This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast, and we are out. You.
Celebrity to me, celebrate cause I'm me. You a star, you a star, you a star, believe. Reach like 2-3, 2 of the stars I'll see. Everyday celebrity, I pray to God it's me. Every night that I pray a lot for my team. I play so I get paid. Yeah, then I break it down with my team. Yeah, who makes sure that we scheme?
I'm an everyday celebrity. You can't do this shit, you gotta come and see. Don't believe in shit, you gon' believe in me. This shit is God sent, so heavenly. This shit is truth, so truthfully. I'ma flip this shit like a quarter key. It's everyday celebrity. I got Apple Pay in my wallet, Cash App in my pocket. Cash if you cop this, if you need it, I got it. Fuck college, cop knowledge, uncommon. I don't need your permission, I guidance to know I'm popping. Don't need a lock kick to know that me and Jordan locked in. Let's get it rockin'. ECMC for the win, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Talk about it.